Hello everybody and welcome back to the TCAC channel, where we usually solve new Leetcode questions or just programming questions to prepare for technical interviews. Today though, I'm going to go back to the problem I solved last episode. I just was not happy with the fact that Leetcode kind of did not accept my solution, although it's a perfectly fine solution. It was basically constrained through runtime. So what I am planning to do now is just solve it again. I actually had a plan back then on how it could be done faster. I was just kind of already agitated enough to not really want to bother, but I just thought about it and I was like, okay, what the heck, let's just try it because it's actually pretty simple and it should work way faster. So what do? We have our input string, and imagine for a second, how about we just take a copy of that string, and first of all we will only take all the vowels and we do our reverse operation, right? So our reverse operation will make it like this. This is going to be done via the reverse slicing operation, basically for an array. And after we're done with that, and basically we've done two things, right? We extracted the vowels, we reversed the vowels. The last thing we need to do is just loop through this initial input, and just to keep in mind, we are always swapping vowels. We never change their position. That means the relative position of vowels and consonants should stay the same. That means if we loop through the input and basically see the index of the first consonant that we see or the next consonant that we see, okay, we know the index, we put this consonant on that index in the array. Then we go to the other one. For example, this was at index 0, right? Then 1, no consonant, 2, no consonant, 3. Okay, then we go 1, 0, 1, 2, and on the 3 index 3, instead of having this one, we actually push this one further, and it would be basically like this operation. From what I remember, I actually don't remember what I wrote here, but from what I remember, yes, we see the index. Our index would be 2. We put basically we go up to index 1 in this case. This will be the index 2, and then from 3 we continue on with the rest of our array, which would have been OE in this case, right? And then we just continue, and as you can see, this is on index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Instead of having this at 4, we have this at 4. We skip this one, and for this one it would be this one, and for some weird reason I got the same result, basically because I actually had the vowels reversed and I never noticed. Anyway, so if we had those vowels and we reverse them, after we put our indexing on the right place, we should be getting exactly the reverse string. Anyway, funny that I was talking about it for 5 minutes, I didn't mention, but doesn't really matter. So we get our output already copied, and we actually get all the vowels that we're going to be sorting through. So I'm just gonna copy this thing on the side because I always forget on how to actually use it. And what we're going to be doing is actually our output would be this, or yeah, actually we can do this in a single swoop. That would be char if char in vowels. So basically let's have our vowels at the very first position in vowels for char in string. So for each character in our string, and we actually even want them to be reversed right away. So we actually reversed our array, starting array from the start. We loop through the reversed array. If we see that our char is in the vowels array, so it's a vowel, we paste it here, and now we have it here. What else do we need? Well, we only need to loop through our initial string, and this is what we are doing in this case. And if our char not in vowels, we know it's a consonant, then we basically get our output, and let's see, equals, and then again basically this thingy. So if we know that we have found a consonant, we basically need to put that consonant, and actually let's say, well, yeah, let's have it as char, and we basically put it at the exact same index that we know here, and we just continue on. And I think this should be basically our result. I just wanna try it because there are some question marks for me. For example, this one. Okay, yeah, because we're not having an if else, we actually need to do this, and then the for clause I think was at the end, which is kind of weird for Python to do that, but sure. Can only concatenate list, not string to list. I wonder, I think it is because our output right now is in a form of a list, and maybe we want to have it as a string right away, and I'm hoping this would work. I'm not even sure. I think there was some question before we actually worked with some notation like that would basically convert our array to a string. What I want to know is actually just print our output, because I'm not sure we got what we wanted here. So we got the E and the O in reversed order, of course. Having them like that, can we wait? Why wouldn't, well, let's quickly string from list join. Was it join? It was join. I remember that now. It was basically this dot join and this list. Whoops. Yeah, it was this weird notation, that's why I forgot about it. And just quickly to print it. And yeah, we get our string. So now, having had that, executing this algorithm should net us the substitution, or basically doing the and no, let's see, what am I missing? So we know if our character is not in vowels. Let's just, and I think I didn't have the option to use debugger mode, right? Let's have our output printed before and after that. Let's do some quick debugging. So we have this, and as right away I see that I am actually substituting. Okay, this would mean that for the very first index, I'm trying to put the char at the very first index, right? And that wouldn't work because our first index is, yeah. Why don't we work with an array for the time being? I think it's easier because arrays are actually easier to manipulate. So let's just have it as an array. Now, how would our strategy change? We know that our character is not a vowel, and we know that, for example, in this case, we need to basically substitute it here, right? So what we could do is that's interesting. I mean, I could basically split our array, and in this case I would split it into an empty array here for the very first one. Then I would basically need to do something like this, and then put the other one. Let's see. Okay, again printing the output. Everything until 0, basically nothing, plus character, which would be H, plus the output from this index, I guess, would be the correct answer, because we are only inserting, we are not substituting. And now we got our result. And for example, we see that we had the O and E, then we push exactly at the 0 index or position, because here we get nothing. Here is the first thing that comes, here's everything like the rest. And this is basically the way we do further on. So for example, in the second loop we have this, and we know the L is on the 0, 1, 2 of an index. So index 2, everything including 0 and 1 gets cut here. Everything including 0 and 1 is basically these two, gets separated. Then we are at the L, and then we put anything from 2 and above, and from 2 actually here it was the E, right? So yeah, so we basically get our result. And of course we want this as an output. And I'll just leave the debugging just for now. And yes, the expected answer was exactly that. Let's try an empty string. I'm not sure if the empty string was part of this exercise, but I think it was. And exactly, we got nothing. And what would be something other than that? I guess I remember they had something like AA. Let's print that quickly, or yeah, just test it. And I know it I'm not sure about the format of these videos, but I think it is better to actually include some of the troubleshooting process. Otherwise, you just see a solution, and you can find these solutions on the internet anyway. Like, just reading about it is not enough, and even just listening to or just looking at how I solve them is not enough. But I think it's a bit more, and it is closer to what your actual goal should be, and that would be solving those yourself. So what do we gain in this case? Well, first of all, we are not looping through the whole, in worst case scenario, basically we're not looping through the whole string backwards for every string forwards, right? We're only looping once, and that would be backwards, and just extracting all the vowels one time. and the second time we're looping forwards and just inserting all those consonants, and that is all that we're doing. It's basically doing 2 times the length of a string. So basically get time complexity or runtime complexity of n. Space complexity would be basically we are working with one more array containing the same string at best. So basically, again, the space complexity would also be n, and n being, of course, the size of the string or the input string. So let's just submit this one, and I'm curious to see how it stacks up. If it passes, if there are some more bugs to it. Time limit exceeded. Well, what do you know? Anyways, I think I will be adding this video as a bonus video, just because this is a way better algorithm than the first one, and I don't really think there is anything I can do to improve it. And if you guys have something to improve on the, I guess in this case, runtime complexity, let me know. I would be curious to know if there is anything to be done there. Other than that, yeah, I think that was this video, and I hope you learned something, and yeah, see you guys next time.